Most people who have Alzheimer's disease or related dementia will exhibit distressing behaviors like anxiety, depression, frustration, or anger at some point in the disease. And these behaviors are often due to some underlying cause. Be sure to listen to the end to learn how you can get a free checklist for decoding distressful behaviors in dementia based on today's episode. Welcome back to This Is Getting Old, Moving Towards an Age-Friendly World. I'm Dr. Melissa Batchelor, and I am a nurse practitioner, and I wear a lot of different hats in my work, including hosting this weekly podcast to bring you news and information on aging, caring for someone living with Alzheimer's disease, and a wide range of topics that I hope will help move us towards becoming an age-friendly world. Because when things are age-friendly, they're friendly for everyone. So if you like the podcast, the best way to help me grow and support the podcast is to like it, share it, and leave a review in whatever platform you've tuned in on today. Because no matter how old you are today, we are all aging, and these issues are going to become increasingly important. If you're a millennial, there are things that need to be in place when you reach the age of 65. So we have about 20 to 25 years to get these things in place to help you age with the support and choices that will help you, just like the people that are 65 today. Your likes, shares, and reviews help get the information out to help more people dealing with these issues. But right now, let's get going on this week's episode. Now let's dive into this week's episode where I'll be talking about Alzheimer's disease and sharing a checklist for how to decode these distressing behaviors in dementia. So it's important to understand that Alzheimer's disease and other dementias impact a person's ability to communicate with us using words and language. So their behavior becomes increasingly important for us to pay attention to. Most behaviors are triggered by something, and as caregivers, we have to put on our detective hats and figure out what that trigger was. Most people who have Alzheimer's disease will experience a distressing behavior such as depression, anxiety, sleep disturbances, emotional outbursts, agitation, aggression, and even apathy at some point in the disease. And this is just because of the changes that are happening in the brain, but these behaviors are often because of some other underlying cause. In today's episode, I will share 4 areas that could lead to these types of behaviors and 3 questions to ask yourself in order to figure out what the underlying cause might be so that you can either prevent or short circuit these distressful behaviors. So number 1, communication challenges. So like I just said, a person with Alzheimer's disease is going to be losing the ability to use and understand language over time. So is the person having trouble finding the right words? Do their words and sentences and thoughts seem jumbled? Are they not easily understood? Are they leaving their thoughts hanging in mid-sentence? Or maybe they're replacing their words with nonverbal communication, such as sounds, gestures, or even facial expressions. So communication challenges could be one area that's causing them to be frustrated, and that's why you're seeing the behavior. Number 2, it could be the environment. Is the environment too loud or too quiet? Is there not a good structure or routine to the day? Is there too much clutter that's stressful to the person? Maybe the room is too hot or too cold. Is the lighting adequate, or are they in a new or confusing place? Any of these things could lead to these types of behaviors, and just by fixing the environment, we can short circuit those or prevent them. Number 3, physical changes, such as pain. So there could be an underlying physical problem. Are they too hot or too cold? Are they tired? Are they hungry? Or are they in pain? And a lot of times with advanced Alzheimer's disease, people can't localize pain, which means they can't tell you that their elbow hurts. But you may see nonverbal cues or behaviors such as the agitation or aggression. Maybe they're crying or grimacing. They might be gesturing, moaning, or they might even just be restless. So making sure that we're looking for some underlying physical cause because they can also result in these distressful behaviors. And then number 4, unmet social and emotional needs. So maybe the person's feeling disconnected to a sense of purpose. Maybe they're sensing a loss of control or choice. Maybe they're bored or they're feeling unworthy, or maybe they just feel disconnected from other people. So any of these 4 areas can cause distressful behaviors. And so when we come back, I'm going to share the 3 questions to ask yourself and tell you how to get the free handout based on today's content. Many spouses, adult children, even grandchildren and friends find themselves in the position of being a caregiver to either aging parents or grandparents or a person living with dementia at some point in time, and that's when the questions come. So if you have pressing questions, or if you don't have the time and energy to look up answers, that's where I can help. Visit my website at MelissaBPhD.com and sign up to work with me one-on-one, get the answers to the questions that you need now. So welcome back. So now we're going to finish up this episode with the 3 questions to ask yourself when you see a distressful behavior so that we can try to prevent them from happening. So number 1, what was happening right before you saw the distressing behavior? So any of these 4 categories, either the environment, the communication challenges, physical pain, or some underlying unmet emotional or social need, just think back to what was happening right before you saw this distressing behavior. Number 2, how did you react to the behavior? And did your actions make the behavior better or worse? Because a lot of times people with Alzheimer's disease are going to be picking up on our nonverbal behavior. So if we were angry or in a rush, then they're going to pick up on that. And we might have inadvertently kind of triggered that behavior in the person. So the calmer that we can be with our approach and trying to understand what's happening from the perspective of the person with Alzheimer's disease can be a really helpful way to prevent these behaviors. And then number 3, what do you think you could do in the future to prevent this type of behavior? So maybe it's making sure that the air conditioner or the heater is set to a certain temperature, being sure that if people are new or coming into the environment, that they don't get, the environment doesn't get overly loud. Maybe we need to turn off televisions or turn down the radio so there's not all of that going on in addition to people talking. So just thinking through, here's what was happening right before this behavior. Here, was my response that either made it better or worse, and then putting those things together to say, so what could we do to prevent this from happening in the future? So thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. And all you have to do is click on the link below, and it will take you to a free checklist and handout with the 4 categories listed there for you, as well as these 3 questions and a little space for you to write your answers so that you can use this form to kind of help problem solve any distressing behaviors that you might see. So again, thank you for tuning in, and I'll look forward to seeing you back here next week. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. You can check out other episodes on this platform or visit my website at MelissaBPhD.com. Thanks to listeners like you, in the first 18 months of This Is Getting Old, we have reached a ranking of top 10% globally, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate your support in making that happen. I'm also really excited to let you know that you can now work with me directly, either one-on-one or you can join one of the groups that I coach. Particularly if you're an adult child dealing with an aging parent or a caregiver trying to manage the complexities of someone living with Alzheimer's disease. In the show notes, you can also find information about how to reach out and contact me directly, and I hope to work with each of you very soon as we discover and share more ways to make the world more age-friendly for everyone. My website also has information about how to contact me for speaking engagements, or if you have someone you'd like to recommend as a show guest for This Is Getting Old. If you have a product or service in the aging space that you would like to advertise and or sponsor an episode, there's more information about that on my website. And you can also find books and courses that I developed and learn more about the products and services that I recommend. So don't forget, if you like the podcast, the best way to help me grow and support it is to like it, share it, and leave a review in whatever platform that you've tuned in on today. Your likes, shares, and reviews help increase my rating and my rankings, and also help other people find the podcast. I look forward to reading your reviews and hearing from you.